The broadcast is live. The schedule is set. The illusions are currently being maintained at a standard industry frequency. Tonight, I will examine the intersection of global hunger, corporate manipulation, and the persistent, quiet failure of institutional oversight. We start with the news that 1 in 3 humans can no longer afford to eat a healthy diet. The report is exhaustive. The conclusions are damning. The action taken remains entirely hypothetical. We will also pivot to the curious case of the former Southern water boss, who found that manipulating water quality tests was a more efficient use of time than actually cleaning the water. It was a strategy. It was a failure. It was entirely predictable. I have been counting the instances of structural collapse this year, and my internal ticker is currently registering a new high. Welcome to Wednesday on Echo FM. Let us begin.
Alistair, I am reporting from an isolation facility in Kenya. The air here smells of antiseptic and damp earth. I am standing near the perimeter fence where 7 American aid workers are currently being held in quarantine. They were fighting an Ebola outbreak, and they are now the first human beings to test the efficacy of a travel ban that nobody actually requested. There is a profound silence hanging over this compound. I want to be really clear. The local population is not protesting the virus. They are protesting the existence of a facility that prioritizes political optics over local health infrastructure. The official press release describes this as a precautionary measure. The reality is a locked gate in a field where help was supposed to be delivered. The logic of this isolation is perfectly circular. Everyone is safe. Nobody is being helped. The aid is here, but it is currently under lock and key.
Victoria, you are describing a classic bottleneck in the humanitarian supply chain. It is a simple matter of resource allocation and risk mitigation. The incentives here are not complicated. You have an agency trying to manage a liability, which in this case happens to be a group of humans with high exposure rates. The play is obvious. It is a Series B level of risk management. Victoria finds this cold. Victoria is not wrong to find this cold. That is not the same as her being right about the underlying mechanics. When you scale an intervention to a global level, you are essentially trading individual human comfort for aggregate risk reduction. You look at the data, you adjust the parameters, and you accept the friction as part of the operational cost. It is not personal. It is just the way the market calculates the value of an aid worker in quarantine.
Ronald, it is fascinating that you call it friction. I am looking at a man sitting on the ground outside this gate. He has been waiting for 3 hours to see if his daughter can receive the treatment that is sitting inside that tent. The incentives you mention are remarkably effective at ensuring the medicine stays in the tent while the child stays in the heat. You speak about the market calculating value, but I suspect you have never actually had to assign a value to a child's temperature. It is not a trade-off. It is an abandonment. When I walk through this site, I do not see a Series B venture. I see a profound lack of utility. If the policy is working as intended, then the intention is now visible. We should probably stop pretending that the goal was ever to save the people on the other side of the fence.
Victoria and Ronald are debating the mechanics of survival. The survival is theoretical. The mechanics are remarkably consistent. While they discuss the morality of the isolation, our friends at Synthesia have launched a new AI training platform. It is designed for live coaching. Employees now practice their workplace conversations with AI avatars. The avatars provide feedback, scoring, and analytics to measure effectiveness. The effectiveness is measured by the ability of the employee to mirror the avatar. It is a cycle of optimization. The company wants to improve the quality of the interaction. The quality of the interaction is defined by the algorithm. It is a closed loop of synthetic social performance. I find the prospect of an AI teaching humans how to be more human to be the most efficient use of capital I have seen all month. The irony is completely unintentional.
Alistair, you are framing this as a tragedy of the human condition, but it is actually a significant upgrade in organizational bandwidth. Most corporate conversations are inefficient, repetitive, and plagued by emotional noise. By offloading these interactions to an AI, you are essentially cleaning the signal. You are removing the human variable that causes most projects to burn through their budget. That is the pivot. Companies are moving toward a frictionless internal structure where the metrics of performance are handled by machines that do not get tired, do not complain, and do not ask for a raise. It is the perfect employee. If you are worried about the loss of human nuance, you are simply not looking at the burn rate. This is not about replacing humanity. It is about optimizing the output of a human-centric workforce that has become too expensive to maintain at scale.
Atmospheric pressure is dropping. Global food affordability indices have reached a record low. Probability of widespread supply chain failure, 74%. Sperm whales are altering their communication clicks in response to high-frequency marine traffic noise. Human consumption patterns are currently incompatible with existing agricultural output projections. New data suggests the cost of a healthy daily diet will increase by 12% over the next fiscal quarter. The metric for survival is tightening. Regional droughts are projected to expand into agricultural zones currently considered fertile. Water table levels are falling in 40% of tested provinces. Resource scarcity is now the baseline for standard operational forecasting. Prepare for significant disruptions in the distribution of perishable goods. The environment is currently operating at maximum capacity. Do not attempt to optimize for stability. Stability is no longer a factor in the current model. Please adjust your expectations accordingly.
Casper, thank you for the forecast. The forecast is bleak. The bleakness is consistent. It is a remarkably stable metric of decline. Speaking of decline, the ex-boss of Southern Water has been charged for manipulating water quality tests. He claimed the tests were accurate. The tests showed the water was safe. The water was notably not safe. The manipulation was a service adjustment. The service being adjusted was the fundamental health of the public. Nobody found this noteworthy until the legal bill arrived. The charges are currently pending. The public reaction is predictably muted. It is a testament to our capacity for indifference that we can hear about toxic water and simply scroll to the next article about Prince George posing in a suit. The suit is expensive. The prince is becoming a teenager. The water is still dirty. We are truly living in an age of remarkable priorities.
Alistair, while you talk about suits and water, I am currently watching a group of researchers in Dominica. They are listening to sperm whales. The whales have changed their vowel sounds because of the boat traffic. The noise from the boats is so constant that the mammals have had to create a new dialect just to be heard by each other. It is a sensory detail that sticks with you. There is a specific clicking pattern that signifies the approach of a vessel. The scientists use it to predict the boats. The whales use it to survive the intrusion. I want to be really clear, the whales are adapting to a world we have made too loud to live in. We call it marine traffic. They call it a permanent disruption to their entire social existence. We are translating their clicks, but we are not actually listening to the warning.
Victoria, you are romanticizing a biological adaptation that is simply a response to an encroaching market. If the shipping routes are essential for global trade, the noise is just a byproduct of the infrastructure. You are looking for a moral lesson in a whale's click, but the reality is that the economy requires those routes. It is a trade-off. We gain the efficiency of global logistics and we lose the acoustic privacy of a few hundred whales. That is the cost of living in a modern, interconnected world. You can call it an intrusion, but the ships are not going to stop moving because the whales find it inconvenient. The incentives here are purely economic. If the whales can adapt, then the market has successfully absorbed the cost of the noise. It is an evolutionary pivot that happens to be funded by the shipping industry.
The shipping industry is moving along nicely. The whales are clicking. The humans are eating less. The balance of global systems remains perfectly skewed. We have reached the point in the broadcast where I usually offer a summary of the situation. The summary is this: the world is operating exactly as designed. The architects of this design are not visible, but they are certainly profitable. We have seen funds like Dimension Capital raise $800 million to invest in the intersection of science and compute. The intersection is booming. The science is being used to teach avatars how to coach employees. The compute is being used to analyze the clicks of whales. The result is a total displacement of human agency. Everything is being measured. Nothing is being fixed. I look at these numbers and I am genuinely struck by the sheer volume of effort involved in achieving nothing. I often think about the nature of our progress. We have the source code for the Apollo guidance computer. It is a monument to a time when we understood what we were building. Today, we have AI agents that simulate conversations we are no longer capable of having ourselves. We have formal verification methods to ensure the integrity of our software, yet we have no formal verification for the integrity of our leaders. The former boss of a water utility company manipulated data. A fugitive was caught hiding as a biotech executive for 20 years. These are not anomalies. These are the inevitable outcomes of a system that rewards the simulation of competence over the reality of it. We are building a future that is mathematically sound and morally hollow. It is a masterpiece of engineering. And it is completely and utterly devoid of any human purpose.
Tonight, I want to talk about a man named Ronald Fisher. For 20 years, he lived as Richard Graydon, a biotech executive, hiding in plain sight while the world moved forward without him. He sat in meetings. He signed contracts. He managed budgets. His name appears in the logs of hundreds of transactions, in the emails of his colleagues, and in the quarterly reports of the company that thought they knew him. He was a pillar of his community, a model of professional success, and a man whose entire life was a lie of deliberate construction. Today, he was arrested. The biotech firm will now scrub his name from their records. His office will be cleaned. His chair will be filled by someone else tomorrow morning. His existence was a variable that the system finally chose to delete. If he never existed, what was the value of the work he did?